Are we live? We're live. Ha! Good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I have special guests on tonight. 3 of them. Oh, hold on now. I gotta do this. It's not paused there. And then is this one. I gotta pause that one too. And now I think I've got them both paused. Okay, I'm just trying to monitor. So, folks, I'm streaming this to 2 different channels tonight, just so you know. And I'm going to just put in the chat again. If you could watch it on this one, I'd appreciate it. The one I just threw up in the chat. And I did mod a couple people over there. So, anyhow. And I got Bumblebee modding over here. And I think Constitution Vet will be in too. So, anyhow, why is this... oh my gosh, they're still trying to play my other thing in the background. Okay, I think I've got all technical difficulties resolved. And I've got my special guest, George, is going to be joining in a little bit. He texted me here. And then I also have Marcus D. And anyways, everybody, as you're coming in, please do me a quick favor, smash the like, and please subscribe over on the Lumberjack Logic channel. Okay, and that is, and if you can watch it over there, I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to get that channel going, you know, because I may just strike this channel myself. I may just shut her down. So just so y'all know, if you're not following that one, you may not. I'm debating such things. So just due to the fact that, well, the world's gone mad, as you all know. So we've got that. But this is my special guest, Tracy. And Tracy is on the Minnesota Telegram group. In fact, I got in touch with Tracy first when we did the affidavits here in Minnesota. And we had a Zoom call with Tracy, Roddy Mom, Dave Jose, myself, and then also Steve. And everybody kind of had their own little talents. And so before George jumps on here, I want to talk briefly about that, Tracy, because I would like everybody in their own states to use this as an example. Because what we did was kind of, I don't want to say it's remarkable because it was us, but it just kind of took on a life of its own. I could not have come up with the perfect group that it came about because everybody had their unique talents and abilities to make this possible. So Steve actually built the Fight for MN website. Tracy and Roddy Mom both worked on the affidavit together. I'm going to let you talk just briefly about that. And then I was I did the video for the site so we could kind of encourage people to do this. And we actually had some mandates lifted and businesses reopened within about 2 weeks of setting that up. So it would have been, by the time everybody got their affidavits notarized and everything else, that's I guess the time about he would have got them and had to think about it. So, and then we've done a second round too, and now we're looking at a third round. So Tracy, I'm turning it over to you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll do my best. I hear echo. Is that you or me?
I don't hear one on mine. Does anybody out there in the audience?
I don't hear it anymore now.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So, yeah, I got involved with the affidavits by watching Dave's channel, and it really intrigued me because I think the one video that really stood out for me was 5 Minutes to Freedom. And he lays out constitutional law really simply in that video. And I was like, this is interesting. Why don't I know this already? You know,
yeah. Why didn't any of us know this?
It just seems simple. I don't know my constitutional rights. And as he laid them out, and it just struck me to the core, to where I was like, wow, I was so hungry. I was like, I need to learn more, because can't remember what time frame that was in all of the lockdown and stuff like that. It was pre, I think we weren't technically in quarantine or anything, but businesses weren't really open. Everybody was still mandated to wear masks. My kids were not able to go to school. And just like everybody else, I think I just got fed up, and I I was just like, this is not right. Something is wrong. And as I watched his videos, I just got really sucked in and just wanted to learn more and more, and started to work with other people on the TS Plus Minnesota site. And we just, connected and got dialogue going, and everybody was in the same boat. We were all just fed up.
No, very.
And as we, as we worked through stuff, and I can't remember exactly how I got from Dave's videos to like talking to him personally. It's kind of a miracle in a way that all of that came about the way it did. But I think somehow I found him on Telegram and just really started following what he was doing, and started following all the things that were happening in Arizona as far as the audits and how that came about. That is the crucial piece, is how did it come about? Came up through because of the affidavits.
Mm-hmm.
And once I started learning, I'm like, I want to do this. I can do this. I can write. I have spent 30 years as an admin and working in different entities. And I'm like, I know I can write, do some business writing, and I'm a good researcher, and I think I can handle this, and so with Roddy Mom and Steve, we all just kind of, and you, obviously, as we kind of gelled and came together and realized, oh yeah, we all have these different talents, and there's so many other people on our channel. It's not just us. I mean, we have 400 people on there, and there are so many other people that I've been meeting through this channel that have amazing skills. We have someone who's a paralegal, and she has helped me as well on the affidavits. And she's just a great, business writer, legal writer. So it just kind of she has helped me format and do a lot of other things. And there's someone who, is interested in hosting events, and, so we're not an organization. That's the biggest thing. We're just a grassroots bunch of people, and it's been really cool.
It's completely organic. And do you know what's interesting, Tracy? So this group that caused all this action, now I got invited to the Telegram group from my old roommate. He's a fishing guide and tournament fisherman in northern Minnesota. His name's Chad Benson. And he just was like, oh, here, these Minnesota people just did, so he invited me. And so I joined it on Telegram. I was kind of new to Telegram, didn't really know what was going on, how to use it or anything. I still don't really know how to use it, I'll be honest. Anyways, other than I can follow people on there, but I tried to create a channel and it hasn't quite figured out yet, folks, but I will get it up. But anyways, the long and short of it was I just got shared this channel, and folks, there are TS Plus groups. It's Tori Says, but there are groups in all states and Tori's a journalist, and she does a great job. But here's the thing: these people that are on these TS Plus groups by state are pretty active folks. I mean, this isn't like people who just want to sit and complain. These are the doers. Okay, so when I actually, I remember I actually just created a private group and reached out to you and Steve and Roddy Mom because I had seen you guys and what you were doing, and I'd been talking with David Jose, and I said, "What can we do, David?" And he's just like, "We do this affidavit," and I said, "All right, I'm going to get these other people. I think they're just animals, and they're crazy, and." Oh, watch this, folks. Here we go.
Neil Johnson. I'll tell you this, Neil, man. I don't know how you proposed to your wife. She couldn't say no. Neil Johnson is so convincing. See, he doesn't ask you questions like, "Hey, busy. Do you want to come on the show?" No, he's like, "Oh, what time do you come on the show? What time? What day?" He doesn't give you an opportunity to say no. So I'm here now, Neil, and I'm happy. Tracy,
it's called the assumptive close.
Good. How are you?
Yeah, you're a salesman. The assumptive close, that's what you're calling it?
That's what we call that.
Oh, man. Well, the demonic company's using that to control 30% of our November elections.
So
you can't say no.
So now Tracy is, George, I was just explaining to everybody, but this is, I connected with Tracy through our Telegram group here in Minnesota. And then I remember the night, now I be coded here. I remember the night you couldn't come on the show. And then that was the night we were talking about Minnesota. And and Tracy was the one who actually, her and Roddy Mom wrote the affidavit together that we submitted to
with Dave's help.
Yes, the leader of the House and Senate in Minnesota, also to Walz, to Ellison, and to Jan Malcolm. That was a big thing, and I think he received hundreds of those, and then that kind of was changing the direction. But I guess I wanted to just talk briefly when we formed that group, Tracy, and this is what anybody can do. I see people from Tennessee, Ohio, and everything here in the chat. Look, you guys can form your own groups, and you can find somebody who can develop a website. You can find some people who have some technical writing skills. You can find some people who are notaries, and you guys can do this. Okay, I just want to encourage you. You can do this, and this is how all of this change is happening. That's how all of the inspections are happening, folks. If there is no public pressure, this will not happen. It won't. Okay, and we have been, as conservatives, for so long. And one of the things I loved about connecting with George and connecting with David Jose and connecting with all these other people is we were finally, and look at all you in the chat, we are becoming now a collective. Okay, where we are actually working together and we are communicating with each other in a much grander fashion than we ever did before. And that's one of the things is as conservatives, we're such individualists, but we need some collective action right now. Okay. So that's what I'm really trying to encourage. And so, I mean, so like Tracy, she's awesome. And she is a lady of action. And Roddy Mom was the same way. And all I did was make a video for this thing and kind of connect people. I mean, I did not do all that work that they did. I sent in my affidavit. I didn't tell anybody to do something I wasn't doing. Believe me, I sent it in. Here, I got Marcus too joining. But I.
What? Is that Tracy S. and who's the other one? Who's this other one? We can't hear you, bud. Can't hear you,
You're
bud.
muted.
Where
Tracy's a hero. I'm more than happy to come second to Tracy. Hey, Tracy, you're. Did I hear you're a mom?
Yeah, I'm a mom.
That's perfect because I believe moms are the next generation. Okay, Tony Shoup in Pennsylvania, Karen Taylor. Jamie in Pennsylvania, they got those Pennsylvania legislatures to be so pressured to the point where Jake Corman, the Senate president, has to come out to defend the audit. What's that all about? That guy's a real swamp creature. So moms are the way. Moms all the way.
No,
Mama bears.
Ladies,
gotta protect our kiddos.
Ladies have been it in this movement. Okay. Like I am a guy and I want more guys to rise up, but I mean, the women are killing it. Okay.
I'm surprised that more moms haven't stepped up because you've seen them at these school board meetings and that's when the mama bears start to come out. But I can't believe it takes them getting to that point of going nuclear on camera in front of a school board to get them to be like, all right, we got to rise up against what's happening. I mean, I literally thought there'd be more, but the fact that they're coming out now is amazing. I think, Hizzy, you hit it right on the head. Like the moms are the future of where we're headed in this movement. And if they can get behind, if they can protect their kids from critical race theory and all these mandatory, it's just, you're making waves in where we're headed in this movement.
Yeah,
I think, the biggest thing is force me to put a mask on my kid.
Mm-hmm.
And, so this is a funny thing. My son, who's in high school, he was a junior this last year, and he had a poli-sci class during the same time as the election. And boy, let me tell you, that was really interesting when you get to see firsthand how a teacher uses their platform to teach your kids all about, their point of view. I was really not happy. And, that really probably started the biggest fire in me to start figuring out how to get out of this. stuff.
Yeah, that's
And
all part of this great awakening. People realizing that if I don't teach my kids, then a woke liberal with pink hair is doing it. So you might want to teach your kids. And I think that's just a great realization. Neo, you do all this homeschooling stuff. And I think that's also a big part of the next step in winning freedom.
No,
that's what we're calling it.
Now, Tracy, did you find yourself deprogramming every day when they came home from school, like unteaching them what they've just been taught?
I'm really thankful. I have my son, especially, he's the oldest. He's a very much a free thinker. And, you know, we brought our kids up for the first 4, 5, 6 years in parochial school. So they did have Christian values and background before they went to public school. And actually, my daughter doesn't go to public school. She went 1 year and she was like, no, I don't like this. So she goes to a charter school, which suits her really well right now. My son is in public high school. And so, you know, and he is really a good communicator. So he doesn't get too worked up emotionally. I was already warned by other parents about this one particular teacher, though, too. So I was a little ready for it, but not. I mean, when you can watch your kids' class because they're on Zoom, that's really eye-opening. That was almost a detriment to the public school system, to be honest.
Well, did you see when the Minneapolis public schools, Tracy, were trying to not allow the parents? I mean, how do you not allow somebody in their own home to see what's going on? But they didn't want the parents seeing it.
Well, it's called public school. You know, I don't know how they can get away with that.
Yeah. No, if there were cameras in every classroom, it'd be different.
Right.
Well,
they actually were this time. So that's the really interesting thing. Like, they almost did this to themselves.
Well, and I'm a firm believer in having parents such as yourself, such as Neil, raising up children in the ways that they should go so that they will not stray from it, like the Bible talks about, and then trusting them to make the right decisions. Now, there's a fine line between, you know, peer pressure that they're going to feel and the indoctrination that they're going to get and the confusion that's going to happen within their brain, their own minds. But it sounds like your son has got a pretty good head on his shoulders, which is amazing. So congratulations to you for raising up such an amazing boy. But I think we need more people like your son to be in that system, to be an example to those, because otherwise we're just going to create these echo chambers, right? And then there's going to be nobody to fight back against what the actual school system is for, and that is free thinking and alternate thoughts and debates and everything else.
Mm-hmm. And learning, you know, the basics like science, math, English, instead of things we should be teaching them at home. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion.
The mommy state of the government. But Hizzy, was your school like that? Were they pretty woke every day, all day long?
No. They're not allowed to be woke. If I'm in your vicinity, you can't be a liberal. You're going to change your mind real quick.
You convert even the teachers?
I really want to know, George. So you're young, okay?
And this is the worst time to call on me because I have to go do something for 10 seconds really quickly.
Okay. He's gonna go do something. I should go tell my kids to turn down that Star Wars they got rocking out there. Oh, do you know what's really funny about Star Wars, by the way? Is that Democrats don't realize that they're the empire and we're the republic. They're all fans, and they don't understand that they are the empire right now. It's just a little aside for you folks.
They think we are. I mean, this is the crazy world we live in. They think we're the bad guys. Obviously, they think they're the good guys, right? I mean, nobody thinks that they're bad, do they?
No.
I don't know.
Tracy, you hit the nail on the head. I actually have a story coming out tomorrow about that. It's going to be about suppression, and they talk about how we're the ones that are suppressing the vote by going against the Voting Rights Act and all. And Obama's out there defending Ed McBroom in Michigan, saying that all this commission that he put together, this report that he put together, he was just trying to find election integrity in his state. It's like, this is what they do. Everybody knows this at this point. And if you don't, I don't know where you've been all this time, but they literally project what they themselves are afraid of and their insecurities onto the other person. So if they're saying something Like Adam Schiff the other day was just saying something on Twitter talking about Donald. He has his TDS out there going crazy on Donald Trump again. And I'm like, Schiff, you literally realize that you're talking about yourself in the tweet that you just wrote, right? Like you're talking about yourself, but they're so insulated and ignorant to the fact that they think their whole world is their whole world and nobody else, anybody who disagrees with it is an outlier.
You know what's interesting about being insulated though, Marcus? So the other day I was on the road and so I'm with my kids and we can only get one radio station. And so we're listening to CBS News.
Yeah.
Holy cats. Like, what world are these people living in? I'm really sitting there thinking my kids are like, they're talking about second strains and variants and about what, and how we're all going to die and how we've got to put this back on and all this. And I'm like, where are these people living? I mean, I'm up here and we're all just walking around living life, man.
Oh, man. Oh, well, look how convenient these strains are. I'm waiting for the DeSantis strain that only affects people that are in humid climates and that happen to live in Florida. But they're all convenient. They have a purpose, which makes me wonder if these are getting produced at the same rate to do a specific job, which is to constantly take power away from the people, because that's what this is about. It's never been about the actual medical issue we have. It's always been about taking people's rights away and having a convenient excuse to do so. And then people just accept it. Then all of a sudden, you live in Cuba.
I love what I've been seeing on Twitter and all these videos from the Cuban people. Good for them. Good for them. How long have they lived in this oppressive state that they finally get to the streets and they showing people getting arrested in the streets for peacefully protesting the communist regime that they're under, and they still come out in full force saying, we don't want these draconian rules. It's like, this is a wake-up call. This is why the media is saying that this is Trump's issue. This is why Trump created this in Cuba. Okay, you TDS fools. You literally going to blame him for everything for the next 4 years? No, it's your way of trying to get out of what you're creating, of what you're trying to get after. They said it was like a protest against COVID. There's no chance with the translations that we've seen that this is a protest against COVID.
Marcus, you got to realize it was actually a real insurrection because they were shouting freedom and other anti-government slogans. So it really was,
And they want
freedom
that here.
Is so anti-government.
They want all of us to be in the streets lighting fires and toting guns. They want us to freak out. That's what they're trying to do with this whole, I'm going to start knocking on your door with, have you had the vaccine? They want to trigger people's emotions. Yeah. All of us that are awake to what they're doing, they want us to get upset. And because they want that one tiny little reason to say, whoop, we got control now.
Yep.
The military is going to take over.
That is a great point, Tracy. And
that's why you keep seeing all of that.
And if they haven't...
We keep and bear arms in my household. I don't know about you.
We hunt, so yeah.
I just think if they can't get a natural reaction, they're going to manufacture a reaction, and that's we're coming up to the results of the Arizona audit. There's people freaking out over there on the west side. Katie Hobbs has obviously been screaming from the mountaintop since day one, but that's such a fantastic point that I think people are lost on, Tracy, is that I've seen so many people that I'm close with, and I'm not going to name names, but people that I'm around, or even just second or third tier people that have fallen back asleep. And I understand you don't have to be involved in politics as closely as we are, but if you cannot see what's happening with the invasion at our border, if you cannot see what's happening with all of the emails that came out from Fauci, and then they still go back to the Delta and the Lombard variant or whatever other variants are coming up. I mean,
Alpha, Beta, what happened to those?
How in the world there's no chance you can't see it. There's just no chance. You're either sticking your head in the sand or you're willfully trying to be ignorant. And at this point, if you have some sleepy friends, I think you're right. Because why else would you look at that and say, oh, that's okay. Or, oh, I'll just send my kid to that school and then we'll talk about it later. It's like, this is beyond the pale of wherever we've been at in this country. And if this doesn't wake you up now, you literally are trying to avoid it.
We need a lumberjack variant. That's what we need.
We got one right here.
Yeah, hey, Paul Bunyan style.
but just real quickly here. So, folks, I just want to address one thing really quick. Obviously, the crazy is real, and so Marcus, I know, has really been rocking on locals. And some of the mods out there probably have his locals link and link that in. If you look below in the description, I do have Marcus's channel link in there. I also have my locals along with I have my Lumberjack Logic backup, and then some other things down there. And so, folks, it's also Odyssey and whatnot. But I've dismissed Rumble. I can't upload to everything, and so I just want you all to know that if you kind of had Rumble as a backup, I'm done with it for multiple reasons. I won't get into them all here, but just that's all in the description down below. So, and I want to bring this up, George. I know you got a Telegram, and what else are you doing right now?
Yeah, what are you doing, George?
I'm going to the gym, man. I'll be honest. Well, I do believe at some point we have to. I'm all for alternative platforms. I do all that. I'm all for it. But ultimately, we still want to spread the word. So I'm constantly planning that. I think I'll change my name. We might have to, because I think they're noticing these names. They're real communist, but we just have to take time. And when the Arizona audit comes back, or when the results are published to the world, I think that's when I'll, because I don't care about any audit news right now until those audit results come out. Yeah, that's when I'll be like, wow, I'll come out with a big old movie. It'll be such a big deal, man.
Look at you making a grand re-entrance when the results come out. I like that. That's a good strategy.
Yeah, I'm skipping the process. Some people say trust the process. I just trust the results. So we'll wait for those.
Well, what's happening in Colorado, your home state? Have you heard any updates on what's going on there?
I got an email from one of our reps, and he sent a letter to the Secretary of State saying you're overstepping your bounds by threatening to take action against any county that pursues any integrity measures. So yeah, that's all. That's what's happening here. Apart from that, we have mountains and weed, so I suppose that makes up for the corruption.
that is part of the corruption.
I love
Colorado.
Hey, I gotta say something really quick. I saw somebody saying donate to the RNC. I am not giving the RNC jack diddly.
Who said that?
We have 220 million. Where is this to? I donated $20 because I was so fired up in November. I was like, please stop this. Why is it happening? I donated $20 to these guys. 220 million.
They had 220 million. So here's the thing. Donate your time or donate to specific candidates, people.
Yeah.
Candidates that, are like MAGA candidates, right?
And to my bank account, if you don't mind, to my bank account. Well, here's the thing, Neil. I'm all for candidates right now, but I think the most important thing is to find out what happened last time. And that's
Matt
all I care
DePerno's
about.
got the site for that. I should have linked that. Mods, if you can just put in a link for Matt DePerno. What is it?
EIFFR?
What is it, Marcus?
EIFFTAR.
Oh.
EIFFTAR.
Yeah. Let me look it up.
EIFFTAR.org, right? Is it org?
Yes, .org. It is for the it's election integrity. Oh, I forget that acronym for it, but yeah, it links directly to the TAR, not TER. It links that's all right. It links to the Arizona audit, and they had some kind of weird stuff going on. I did get confirmation from somebody though, connected to the situation, that they did end up getting the 3.3 million that was promised to them. So they still have that, but that doesn't mean that that it's over. This is the grassroots. This is voter GA. This is audit the vote PA. Yeah, it's just starting. And I know that sometimes we get on here, guys, and say, donate $1 here, donate $1 there. But
look at Janet. Janet's doing it. Do you see
that,
Mark?
We have no. Yeah, look at that. That's what I'm talking about, Janet. Thank you. We have no other recourse. Like, this is our recourse, okay? Our recourse is to say things in code online, hoping that they don't take us off because they're commies, and then having to take live feeds off. So while you're watching us, we ask you to donate because we have no other opportunity to do so. And then when you go and give whatever you can. There's no obligation, but please, if you got $1 or $5, whatever it is. But this is what the country is now, unfortunately. And this is why Trump's in a lawsuit with the big tech. This is why we're fighting against censorship on YouTube. I mean, we can't avoid it. We're here. So we have to do something about it.
Yeah. I'm in that lawsuit, Marcus.
Are you? How did you how did you get in? Because there's a lot of people that are asking, how do I get in on this lawsuit?
Well, you have to tell your story, and I suppose they just add you in. It's
on
not
a website
really
or something?
Yeah, it's not like you're filing a motion. I think it's on the website. You just add your name, number, and email and everything and tell your story. Okay. But here's the thing with big tech. I think that's one of the more important issues right now.
It is.
The censorship. I think it's so huge. As much as I'm all for the alternative platforms, YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. Yep. It's not even a search engine. It's a video platform, but it's the second biggest search engine. The first is Google. Google owns YouTube. So if those two people are bent on the idea of censoring and silencing people, I don't think moving to an alternative platform solves the issue. That's not what we really want. The majority of people have a convenience to stay on YouTube. So I think that's as soon as a certain orange person is back where he belongs, I want that to be his first piece of business, man. It has to be.
He tried before.
Man, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about lock him up, lock up Dorsey. That's what I mean, Marcus.
Demonopolize. The internet is really a public utility at this point. It should not be a private entity.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're getting Section 230 protections.
Public meaning we own it.
Well, right. And that's been the problem with all public services, Tracy, is that the big corporations come in, they offer their big dollars because they can. They find influence, and little by little, year by year, they end up taking it over, and then advertisements become king, and then content becomes king, and then they can publish whatever they want, and then they think that they have nobody holding them accountable because they haven't had anybody holding them accountable. And then all of a sudden, we're too big for this. I mean, I'm seeing brazen, in-your-face evil right now. And I'm going to call it evil because that's exactly what it is.
It is. Oh, I totally agree.
And they're not even hiding it.
I worked for actually two municipalities back several years ago. And there was a time when the city workers, so the were employed to do traffic lights, road work. Now it's all contractors. Yep. Except for water. The water is still, as far as I know in Minnesota, run by, our government entities. But
and
all that other stuff, I mean, we don't know what they're doing to our traffic lights and what those cameras are doing, watching us go by and catching us as we run a red light or something. What else are they watching for?
It's good that you just mentioned a government, controlling what it shouldn't control, because that's exactly how that's the exact angle Donald Trump is attacking with these lawsuits. First of all, a genius thing he did. He sued them 3 different times. So he sued them individually. Facebook, he sued them separately. Twitter separately. Usually they just, add everyone in the same lawsuit. Mm-hmm. But it means he goes through 3 different judges. The YouTube one, he's going to a George Bush judge. So we hope he can do something good. The 2 other judges, they're all Obama judges. But ultimately, we want just one case, whether that's in front of the Supreme Court, to say, big tech companies can't censor people. That's unconstitutional. And the government is lobbying censorship. Look at the articles that came out about how these secretaries of state told big tech to delete certain words and certain speech around November. Wonder why. Why was that? That's clearly an indication of a government using a private company to do its bidding. That makes that private company a state actor. So Trump's attacking these lawsuits in a way he can win. So I'm glad.
hold on, Marcus. I want to show this Nene, love this, mention to friends and found how ironic Governor Walz lifted restrictions after the affidavits. Very interesting. Question, anyone, is there any movement to do affidavits, Tracy, for a forensic audit in Minnesota?
Yes.
Which is why she's here. So I want to get this in before we forget it. All right. So,
well,
Tracy,
so I was kind of taught by Dave Jose, and I like his process because it's very successful. We send notice, and one thing I'm really, anybody that is interested in making a difference in your local state government, paper. I know it's a hassle to print on legal paper. I know it's a hassle to go to the post office and get something certified, return receipt. Now they have electronic return receipt, which is really awesome.
Tracy, you know what else is a hassle? Unteaching your kids communist teachings. That's what's a hassle.
I know. So getting people to wake up to say, hey, for this little bit of inconvenience can give you some freedom, right? And one step at a time, one notice, one affidavit at a time. So there's a difference. I don't know, how many people out there know what the difference is between a notice and an affidavit. Our group sent notice to the state government regarding a forensic election audit. And, there's other words in there that are very specific to what they did in Arizona. So I can't, it's like kinematic or something, and so that has been sent. They have received it per my return receipt. And then I typically, and again, Dave kind of coached me on this, send an email after I send a notice to say, hey, by the way, I sent this because I carbon copied. It should go, notice to agent is notice to principal, should go to all of the legislators. And I always, about a week or so after they get it, send it to them as an email to say, I'm hoping you got this, to kind of, make sure that the people behind the scenes are doing their job and letting everybody know. And then, it's funny, I haven't gotten any emails back. Normally, I don't know how many people sit in Congress. I get 1 or 2 emails back, and they're not my representatives, which is so funny. There's some very tried and true patriots that do sit in our local state government, and I'm very thankful for them because I've had some great conversations. And there are people that don't agree with me that I have a really good conversation with.
Yes.
So that to me is what this is about, is really creating relationship with your local officials and letting them know that, yes, we are the people and we are in charge, but I don't want to be a boot on your face. I mean, let's do this together. And if you're not willing to do that, if you're going to be a clown and sit there and do whatever you want, well, then we're going to, take that next step and send you an affidavit and go, now you really don't have a choice. So it's been a really interesting learning experience for me. Patience is definitely a virtue, because the first time I sent my first affidavit, I was like, oh my gosh, when am I going to hear back? When am I going to hear back? And you don't hear anything. And things just kind of happen in the news. And, nobody really ever says, oh, these people sent affidavits and we're going to, lift the mask mandate. They will never, ever admit that. At least the people that are sitting in government right now.
Absolutely not.
So, it's the part with the group that we're in, Neil and I, is coaching people through that process of patience and understanding that you may not get an acquiescence through an email or any kind of communication, but their actions is all I really care about. I mean, as long as you're doing what we have hired you to do, then I'm good. If you don't want to have a relationship with me, that's fine. But, I'm pretty ready to start pushing the affidavit in our group. I just really feel like we need this last push to get a few more people. A few more thousand would be really nice. So I'm hoping to educate people on this process because it is so effective. And when I feel like our government is starting to understand what these mean now. They are slowly learning what they swore to do, what the Constitution is all about.
I'm a bit confused. What are we demanding here, Neil and Tracy?
An audit, election audit.
Oh, right. Well,
in Minnesota, George, don't you remember that was your big thing back in the day?
Yeah.
You know, you were calling me all buzzed up. You know, I'm trying to set up for a show, and George said on the phone, "Neil, we got to do this." You know,
well, I would say this: we're seeing a prototype in. I mean, the same thing can't work everywhere. We're seeing a prototype in Pennsylvania that was unmatched. You know what Tony Shoup and all those ladies did? Yeah. They would set up meetings. Awesome. They would gather all these petitions, and then they'd set up more meetings, and then they'd keep going with different avenues. Another thing we could do is start looking at counties and pressuring counties individually. If the state isn't looking at it, you have a majority in the Senate, which can do what you're looking for. They can issue subpoenas, each standing committee in the state of Minnesota.
They can't, George, in Minnesota. So I further looked into that, and it's a 3/5.
Oh, 3/5.
3/5. It's got to be 3/5. And there was not. I counted up the members on that committee, and if the Democrats stuck together like they will, we won't get there.
In the Senate?
Yes, I looked it up. It's just, it's for real.
Well, and I like the idea, Bahizzi, of going county to county, basically. I mean,
I think that's important.
What I would do is I would start canvassing up in the Iron Range, because that was the area that was flipping heavily pre-election for Trump. I mean, they had Eveleth, I forget his name, but the Eveleth mayor got on the stage at the RNC and said, "Hey, I've been voting Democrat like everybody else up here since early 1900s or beyond, because that's the farmer labor unions is everything to them up there." And they thought that the government was watching after them. And literally they were taking all their young kids and making them move down to the city because nobody wanted to do the work because there was no money in it anymore. And they said once Trump came in, they brought all the jobs back. They brought all the finances back to the Iron Range, and they were changing. And if you know anything about Minnesota politics, if you know anything about Minnesotans, we don't move very fast, right? We're kind of stuck in our ways. We're very foundational and we're very loyal. But the fact that they were willing to say that, and then you go and look at the election, and it was the same results that you've always seen. Now, I'm not saying that it had to have changed, but there was no variant in what it was. And you had
actually, there was a variant, Marcus. Apparently, the Democrats got even a greater percentage. I live up here on the Iron Range. No, I'm serious. I have never seen so many signs for a political candidate in my life as I did for Trump. I mean, but here, I want to, Tracy, I put this up there, and I want to make sure we get to this. Templates for the affidavits. We've got the website. Now, none are up yet for this affidavit. We're talking.
Correct. So hi, Cindy. Thank you for asking, because we need this. So if you have Telegram, go to the TS Plus Minnesota group. And I think you can just join. I don't think you need an invite. It's not a private group. And go to our files, or just say hi when you join. And you can DM me and I can get them to you. But not everybody's familiar with how Telegram works, and all of our files are in that channel. So it's really easy to find our template.
And I also I'm going to put up the Fight for MN, because we have the templates up there too. So
I think Steve is working on getting it on there.
Yeah. And Steve's great. I mean, these folks, this whole group, it's all volunteer, man. We're just doing what we're trying to do here because God bless America and we love it. But it's fightformn.com. So if you're in Minnesota, but I'm telling you, everybody, this is what I really want to encourage you folks to do. I see people in this chat from every state in the union right now. We've got close to, between the two channels, we've got about 1,800 people on right now. Okay. And basically almost every state is represented. People join together with people in your states. And please do this. It's not hard. I mean, he just used a template website, and then you get the templates loaded on there. I made the video, but you guys know people with videography skills and stuff, just to encourage people. It's just kind of a little more motivational, I guess. But get people to do this, and then you can get these affidavits moving for anything in your state.
Yep.
So
yep.
Tracy,
And only Minnesotans can do the affidavit, but anybody in any state can send notice and say, hey, basically sending a notice can come from anywhere. And, we see you, we want to make sure that these people over here, that they get a fair and free election.
Yeah.
So,
so go to that website, Fight for MN, at least get that bookmarked, join the TS Plus Minnesota Telegram group. Again, all our social media, my social media links, and also Marcus's channel, but George is on Telegram. It's just, you're just at Behizzy on Telegram, right?
I am. Neil,
you're just,
I am. Here's my question. So let's say you had let's say you had eight people somewhere. 8 people. 5 of them. Would you consider 5 out of 8 a majority, a 2/3 majority?
5 out of 8 would fall. Yes, that would be a 2/3.
It would be a
you find it in Minnesota,
majority. Right. So your state government committee has 5 Republicans and 3 Democrats.
Is that the one with Kiffmeyer?
Yeah, it is. So I'm not sure why we need that's all you need under the statute rules, a 2/3 majority in the standing committee.
Can you share your screen, George?
Man, you're using me up. All right, there we go.
Let's share. Let's just put this on here. So these are the Minnesota statutes. But where's the one with the people on the committee?
To carry out authority granted by this section, or a committee authorized by this, to request the subpoenas by a 2/3 vote of its members, request the issuance, blah, blah, blah. There's 8 people in this committee. Let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Republicans, 1, 2, 3 Democrats. That would be considered a 2/3 majority, I would have thought. And this is the committee responsible for state government in elections, as it says here.
Well, I'll tell you one person that made. Go ahead, Tracy.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I'll tell you one person who's you're going to have to get the majority though. You don't want to talk about him, Neil?
It's not 2/3 majority though, George. This is what the thing. I looked into this. It's 0.625. So you would literally need to get 1 Democrat to flip to get a 2/3 majority.
Well, that sounds incredibly stupid, considering you can't get. Yeah, you can't get a 2/3. Literally, you can't.
You can't. No, you can't.
Well, and I don't know if Mark Caron's going to be, if he's going to play ball anyway. I mean, you're going to have to sell all 5 on the hard idea, which you're not going to have any problem doing with Kiffmeyer and a few others, but.
So
Caron's been the difficult one. No, I'm with you. No, I'm with you, man.
Let's quit.
If they get affidavits from from people, they may not have a choice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, we're at 62.5 or 63%, which is 3% short of a 2/3 majority. So that was the thing.
3%. You said 3%.
And our favorite senator, Jim Carlson's on there. The one that threatened Roddy Mom.
Oh my gosh.
Is he on there? Oh gosh, I didn't even notice that.
I guarantee you that's why he sent that email, was because he's on that committee.
If we're not getting through the legislature anyways, because there ain't no way in hell you're getting Omar, these Democrats to do anything. You might as well start going county by county and approaching these counties. I'm sure you have county board of commissioners, people in a position to do something. They're more than willing to find out what happened in November. You just need one county, and we know they point shave, right? They take a county and they take a few points off just to add to the total. So let's find some, 5 counties and start approaching their commissioners and start meeting with them. They're more local, so they're more accessible. And then, eventually, politicians are followers. They're not leaders. Look at what's happening in Pennsylvania. Jack Corman just 2 months ago was saying a forensic audit isn't necessary. Now he's saying, yes, it is necessary, because Mastriano and a few other senators were convinced of the idea up to the point where they traveled to Arizona. So if you just have, I don't know, you don't need a 2/3. Just get 2 Republicans to start caring. And all of a sudden they start pitching the idea more and more. The counties start listening. And I think that's how you really get to that point.
That is true, George. I mean, you're really dealing with it is a momentum issue. And once you get some momentum going and you get true believers on your side, it changes everything. It really does. So I don't want to, I was just, from a math standpoint, you've got to get somebody to flip on that committee unless you find another route to go. I just wanted people to understand that.
I'm a big fan of these affidavits, but there's also an element of pressure. You have to apply pressure in a billion different ways, which means going to the counties. That's more pressure in a different angle. You got to approach some of these people's friends, their families, become friends with their wives, and they go to any functions, and you're there asking them for a forensic audit. You have to harass them.
Yeah,
it's like they do us, right?
Yeah, don't harass.
Peacefully.
Peacefully.
I like how you think. I like that.
Man, I like Tracy. Well,
it's tough not to like Tracy because I'm telling you, folks, I seriously. So when all this action, Tracy has done so much work behind the scenes because she just cares. Okay, and that's the whole thing with this whole Telegram group and working with Roddy, Mom, and Tracy and Steve. They really, I'm humbled just to work with them. And I'm not just saying that because, I go out and I do things. I mean, I do what I do, but they really do ground work. I mean, they're great. Okay. So,
I think God is equipping you. Even God cares about Minnesota. Not many people do, but here's the thing. God is equipping you with the ability to have different levels of a fighting spirit. You have to have different strategies. And I think that's perfect. I can't believe this. 2 months ago, Pennsylvania had nothing going on. But because of the relentless energy, all of a sudden they're following Arizona's lead. And I think it's going to happen in Minnesota faster than, your cousins, your cousins, Wisconsin, they don't happen to believe it.
Oh, let's not talk about them right now, man.
Marcus doesn't want. He's been so frustrated with that whole thing, but
they have. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the problem is here in the Midwest, it's got a lot of Scandinavian heritage, and there's the demonic spirit of collectivism really at work, and I mean that in not collectively working together, but everybody just. Giving up everything. Individual freedom is frowned upon almost. It's really weird. I mean, we've had a long history of socialist and communist movements here in Minnesota. I mean, I live just north of Floodwood, which was a bastion of communism. And then I came from Debs, which was named after Eugene B. Debs, okay? The leader of the he was a commie. He was the leader of the Pullman strike of railroad workers back in the early 1900s. And he ran for president 5 times. His most successful campaign was from prison, folks. I was living in the pot smoking hippie neighborhood. Okay. It was complete communism. I mean, that's what some of those people were up there and what they are down in Floodwood. So I say that, but it's true. And that we've got a lot of that running around in Minnesota. And it's weird. I don't know why, but anyways, it's changing though. Okay, here's a funny one.
I hope so.
Like the crazy ex-girl.
I didn't grow up here, so to me, it is definitely a different mentality.
So let me ask you that then, Tracy. Where did you grow up?
I grew up all over.
Okay.
So I was originally born in the Midwest in Kansas City. Moved to Buffalo, New York, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Cleveland, Ohio, and I spent about 10 years in Richmond, Virginia. And then I moved to Florida. My grandmother lived in Florida for a really long time, and her siblings, they retired there, but it was more than that. Like I have second cousins that grew up in Florida. So when my parents were ready to retire and I was a senior in high school, we moved to Florida. And I went, like I said, my senior year of high school, I went back to Virginia for college because nobody ever should move their senior year of high school, by the way.
Right.
Don't ever do that to your children. was a horrible experience, but it made me who I am. So it is what it is. But then I moved back to Florida, and that's when I met my husband, and we moved to Minnesota. So
and
From
the reason
Florida, from the
Florida.
freedom to this.
Yeah.
I was in
it
South
wasn't
Dakota.
like that back then.
I was in South Dakota this weekend because I had to do an art show in Brookings, and I had a blast. But these South Dakotans are so great because I'd keep going. They go like, "Oh, where are you from?" I said, "Well, I'm from Minnesota." I said, and I'd talk about how I was out here in South Dakota because we have a commie governor, and I just go on about it. And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, he's terrible. You're welcome to come to South Dakota anytime," because they're like land of the free. They were fully open last year. Hey,
Yeah, they had nothing.
I'm going to mention one other thing too. I've been encouraging people to become citizen journalists. You can do something as simple as use a camera phone, or you can set up with a video camera with a DSLR. And I have long promised this, so I've got to mention this. I kept telling everybody, okay, I'm going to do this live stream on how to use your camera more effectively and everything, and how to video and be citizen journalists. And they've always been asking me to do it. I finally got it set up, so it is tonight after this stream on Fearless Photography, guys. We are going to be doing that. So just so you know. If you're one of the ones who've been bugging me about that, I'm doing it. Okay, I'll do it. I'm doing it tonight. I got my friend Michael Fugit helping me with that. That's on the Fearless Photography, guys. If you haven't been on that channel, it's just linked below. I'll see if I can get a link to the stream for you too, and just post it.
And Tracy, the reason I ask is because I love the perspective of those who have been outside of this Minnesota bubble, because that's exactly what this is. Because they have an awareness that we don't have, and so I wanted to kind of ask you the juxtaposition of where you grew up, which is obviously you have a lot of experience, to where you are now, and how that has shaped what you are doing now, taking action against what's going on here in Minnesota.
It's interesting because the communication here and the way people communicate and connect with each other is so different. You can go out on the East Coast, you can live there for a couple of months and have 10, 20 friends, and you do stuff together all the time, and your life is kind of an open book, and you might meet somebody and they're like your best friend for the rest of your life. When I moved here to Minnesota, and granted, thankfully, I already had my husband, so I wasn't alone. But I had no friends. It was really, really, people would be really nice to my face, Minnesota nice, but extremely passive aggressive in any kind of conflict. But
this
also,
is great advertising for this state. People,
I know.
Definitely. This is so funny. I don't want to set any notice to this mean state.
It taught me how to be a really good communicator with all kinds of people. Let me tell you. I think I also learned compassion for other people that have different points of view. When I think of Minnesota and people who grew up here, there is kind of this hard exterior, and that is the Scandinavian heritage of a lot of people. It's cold here. I mean, it's kind of resonates in the personality too. But how that's brought me to this point right now is, again, I feel like it's really helped me grow as a person and who I am, and knowing who I am, and knowing how who I am relates to all these other different kinds of people that I mean, it's so hard to explain to me. My kids play hockey. So if you have kids in sports, then you might know how there's cliques in that. There's cliques at school, just like there's cliques at high school, right? Mm-hmm. There's cliques in hockey and soccer. And I'm trying to, and my kids do go against the grain. I mean, they are great kids, and they are very personable and sociable, but they are different. They don't have hive mentality. And, so they're always somewhat on the outside of things sometimes. And, I am actually tell them that's okay, because guess what? Yeah. If you're just going to follow the popular kids around all the time, then, I don't know, you're not really learning anything. And it was doing this Minnesota group has really been an interesting step for me, because I've had to, you know, I guess be more of a leader than I've ever been before. I don't really even feel like I was leading until somebody said something to me, and I'm like, "What, you think I'm leading this group? I'm not leading this group. I'm just doing what I do, just throwing stuff out there and hoping somebody bites onto it." So
yeah. You just described literally anybody out there who's never been here or lived here. You just described that perfectly in a nutshell. Once you get inside the loyalty here, it's hard to get out. There is a lot of people that will be friends with you. They will want to hang out with you. They'll want to, do anything with you, do life with you. But it takes a long time to break that eggshell. And unfortunately, it is through this. It's such like a sensitive spirit here, where you just like people, they want to do the right thing, but at the same time, they have this compassion that they've been burned by, or that people have been hardened over time.
Trust.
And then they never let that go. There's just this, I was in restaurants for a long time. And so I saw it every day, all day long. That was my job, was to peel back the layers of people once they came in, because I knew already what I was dealing with when they came in. Now you could tell these people that came from outside Minnesota, because they weren't very Minnesotan. But, it's don't rock the boat. It's stay in your lane. It's kind of do what everybody else does and don't make any waves. But then behind closed doors, you're going to make all the waves that you want. And so that's why these groups.
In your own bubble.
In your own bubble. Exactly. But then that bubble doesn't go outside and introduce themselves to any other bubbles. And so you just kind of stay in this little echo chamber. But that's what's so hard about Minnesota. And that's why I think, Tracy, what you're doing and what Bahizzi was talking about, going county by county, is so much more important here, because we've got a history. We've got a history of this. Neil, can I say the word? I'm going to say it. You've got a history of this fraud with Al Franken, with speculation on what's going on with Omar, Ilhan Omar. There's just so much out there, and there's evidence for that. And so we can attack that if we get out there and do it. And so I think that's where my passion is in this state specifically. But then, of course, there's been low-hanging fruit all over the country that needs more attention right now than Minnesota. But I think every state obviously needs a forensic audit. And I think California is one of the most important states that probably need a forensic audit, because there's a lot of
these, man. So I made a post. I'm not talking about California, but I made a post on locals. I talked to somebody today. You have to check it out over there on that state. And it is very interesting. We've got about 10 minutes left here on this stream, and then I got to jump over to the other stream. I want to reiterate a couple things. One, fightformn.com. Okay. That we will have the affidavits posted there in the near future, or the Telegram group is TS Plus Minnesota. Folks, I want to encourage you to all do this in your states. Okay. We need more, not less, in terms of grassroots involvement. Okay. Especially state by state. I feel one of my biggest jobs in doing all of this is to connect people on a grassroots level, on a state or county level. And I try to do that in different ways through the videos and such, to promote those other groups in those states. Like, I did the one on Utah, or, promote the Arizona people and how they're joining up together. I just want to connect people so that they can locally take action, because national news is kind of exciting and everything, but man, local is where it happens. Local is where it happens. So don't ever lose sight of that. Okay. Yeah. So I just really wanted to encourage you. It's TS Plus Minnesota on Telegram, and it's fightformn.com. Okay. Now I encourage you all to look at it, because that's a model you can use in your state. Okay. That Fight for MN. It's a simple website. It's really easy. You'll see what we're doing there. And we are going to have an event I don't know exactly when, but we've talked about it as a group. We want to get people together, okay? Because you got to get that networking and that synergy and get everybody together, okay?
The big Minnesota get together.
Well, Neil, appreciate that. Tracy, you are turning out to be a ferocious fighter. Minnesota definitely needs you. Because they don't have much else going on. Neil Johnson, you're amazing. Your photos are great. Who's the other guy? I'm not sure.
Okay, you know what?
I appreciate everyone. I do have to go, but God bless you, Neil. Thanks for having me.
George, thanks for coming on. I just want everybody to know where to find you. And so real quickly, to find you, George, they can find you on Telegram and also Gab. I know you've got Bahizzi is your tagline on both of those, right?
Yeah. I think be
Yeah.
hezzy everywhere, except
Behizzy
YouTube,
everywhere.
apparently, because yeah. Well,
So
I'm going to the gym now. Training up for a big fight against Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube. I think I can take her on and definitely beat her to her senses. She's a commie. And goodbye. God bless. Bye.
all right, bye,
bud.
George. All right. Okay. And Marcus, you're uploading a lot to locals now. I just want to make sure people know that. So follow Marcus. It's just exposure. That's his handle on locals. Mine is Lumberjack Logic on locals. Tracy, she's so behind the scenes.
And I'm just me.
You just
I'm
you.
nowhere. And I like it
you're,
like that.
People are asking, how do we get a hold of Tracy? On our Telegram group,
Oh.
you'll see Tracy there. Okay. So TS plus Minnesota.
I'll say hi to you when I see like a bunch of people come in.
Yeah. And we'll
the
have her
group.
back on again. Lord willing.
You're going to get flooded with traffic after this, Tracy. This is going to be a good.
I know the group is going to go like, where did all these people come from?
You know what though? See, people are saying they can't find it. And they always tell me this, that they can't find it when they go Telegram. So here, I'm going to do something for you folks. Just hang with me. You two talk. I'm going to get this resolved for people.
It's TS with the plus sign. That's really important.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
put
but
that in the
it's
comments
still-
below.
I mean, look,
It's we've got to get a
and
link
there's no
up.
spaces.
Well, and
Do this.
Tracy, and one thing that Behizzy said earlier, and I wanted to touch on it while he was there, but there was so much conversation going on, I just kind of let it go by. But I think this is a really important note that he said, well, Trump has got these 3 lawsuits, once again, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And he said, he kind of just said this in passing, but I don't think he realized the weight of what he was saying when he said it. He goes, well, it's 2 Obama judges and 1 Bush judge. And the fact that we're here in 2021 and we're talking about who appointed the judges in a blind justice system in an area of the country, in an area of the government that should not be weaponized or politicized. And we're talking about who appointed these judges. This has been the biggest dereliction of we the citizens. We have not put up a stink for so many years. And all of a sudden now you're talking about these Supreme Court judges are supposed to be the be all end all, and they're turning out to be junk. And you're talking about all these other judges that Trump appointed, these 300 judges around the country. It's like we should not be weaponizing the judicial system. But the fact that we're even here, like this is how far it's gotten.
This is the group, folks. And so it's just, there's no spaces. It's TS plus Minnesota, all spelled out on Telegram.
No spaces. Yeah.
Who's adminning that, Tracy?
I admin and Steve is our guardian.
Can you? I cannot find a link. I can't figure out how to get the link for this. I don't know.
It's really kind of weird. I have had a hard time sharing the link too.
Somebody in our, like, I think Independent Many was always sharing it for me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's no spaces. TS plus Minnesota.
Do you know if it's made private at all?
Yep. Life's a Trip. You just put it up there. So that should be. I'm sorry. What did you say, Marcus?
I was just asking if you had made it private or if it was invite only.
It's not private. Mm-mm.
So it should be there. It's no spaces. Life's a Trip. She's on there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
She's been helpful too in all my affidavit processes.
Yes.
She's from Georgia, so she was in the heat of it.
She's battle tested right now.
Yeah. She's
That's
awesome.
Okay, and I am going to post, folks. So I'm going to leave here, and I'm going to go over to my Fearless Photography guys and do that live stream. But I will post the
while
link.
you're doing that, can I say something real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
What I was going to say is with all these other groups that are for other states, a lot of us are networking with each other too. And that is really like, not only do we have Minnesotans, but we have other people in the other states talking with each other and planning and organizing and sharing ideas. And that is what we need. We need to organize our state by state, together. And so what they're doing in Georgia, they will share with us. What they're doing in Arizona, they will share with us. We're not going to be just a separate little cell here. And all of that experience is going to be so helpful and important. And if we can continue to do that, keep those doors open state by state, man, there's going to be some big fires lit.
Do you see this, folks?
And there already are.
This is grassroots in a nutshell. What Tracy is talking about right here. This is exactly why they locked us down. Okay, they didn't want us talking. They don't want us meeting. Why do churches and bars all of a sudden have the hardest time opening or reopening in this entire situation? Because of people like Tracy, because of groups like this. They don't want you connecting. Why are they now talking about getting into the Biden administration is talking about getting into SMS companies, dealing with them, trying to censor your text messages against misinformation. Folks, they are trying to control everything. They go after the public sector. They go after the head of the snake first, thinking they can demonize him, hoping that the people below him or below them won't scatter and try to do what they, the leadership that they should be in charge of in the first place. And then when they can't get that, they try to control everything else. This is exactly why. This is the reason. And so the more that they fight us, the more we have to continue to go after groups like this, continue to get the exposure for Tracy's and these people down in Georgia and everybody else, and get them connected so that we can network this so that they're not going to be able to take everybody down. They could take Neil down. They could take me down. We'll just have hopefully 10 more people pop up, and maybe we'll pop back up again. We just have to continue doing this.
And I just want people to know too, our group isn't just about the audit. I mean, it is about teaching people their rights, their power in the Constitution, and helping them have the confidence to go to their school boards, to apply, to go be in I can't believe this for the first time. I even went to on my HOA right now, which is really kind of silly, but to me that's a big deal that I'm a board member on my HOA. I would have never done that 6 months ago, and it's these small little things of empowering people to know their rights, know what our government can and can't do, and what our power is in all of it. And we have the power. We have the power to tell them what to do.
Yeah. I'm trying to find that link because I did have it. I had the link on some of my previous ones. One of my mods found it, and now I can't find it. Anyways, sorry, I'm just trying to find that Telegram group because some people are saying they're still having trouble finding it. Here's what we'll do. Go to fightformn.com, folks. In the next couple of days, we'll have Steve just link the Telegram thing on there so you can find it. Seriously, if you can't find it right now, fightformn.com, and we will get a link on there so that you guys those in Minnesota who want to join can join. So anyways, but it's that time. I got to jump over my other channel where I'm going to be late. Maybe I already am. I don't know. Anyways, Tracy, thank you for joining us. I'm so glad George was able to join us. Marcus, thanks for jumping in too. It was a great stream. We had a bunch of folks on, and it is not on Populist Revolt, Ada. Yeah, if you guys haven't frequented Populist Revolt, I've talked to the owner of the site. I mean, she's awesome. Again, another gal. Gals are killing it in this whole thing. So Tracy's muted. You're muted, Tracy. Are you back?
Say, I can see if maybe Populist Revolt can put a link on their site too.
Super.
People know that.
Populist Revolt. We'll get a link on Fight for MN. Okay, we'll get this, folks. We want you a part of it. I don't know why you're not being able to find it and why I can't find the silly thing right now. So on my own. But look, we gotta keep
censoring us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, folks. I'm going to be over there on Fearless Photography, guys. If you guys want to jump over there, I will be on there with my good friend Michael Fugit. I've got a bunch of cameras in my bag here, and we're going to go over cameras, how to set them up, how to just get started in this game. So, all right. Thanks so much. Peace out.
Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Marcus.
Oh, Jonathan Tay, he always does tease. Thank you, Neil. Hey, Jonathan, it's great to see you too. All right. Thanks, folks. Love y'all.
Bye.
Peace out.
Bye.